Hey y'all, welcome back to Savvy Health and Wellness Yoga at Home. My name is Benett. I'd like to start out by advising a couple things about props. The things I use for my home practice include a strap. It's just to add a little length to any stretch or maybe reach that you might not have naturally, whether you're trying to reach around the end of your foot or up and over your head, or just something helpful to have. And if you don't have something like a strap, you can use a t-shirt or a tube sock or whatever it is, something just to add a little length. As long as it does that, you're golden. And the other things I use a couple of blocks in home practice. If you don't have blocks, you can use a stack of books or a water bottle, or if you only have one, that works as well. Just something to add a little height. You want to bring the ground up to yourself so you're not overreaching or overdoing any certain pose. You got to meet your body where it is, meet the pose and the practice as they are now. You can use, I mentioned, a stack of books, or maybe a really big book, a dictionary or something, or a water bottle. Just something that you can add a little weight to. It can be something that maybe you add all of your weight to in some cases, or maybe it's just something that gives a little height, so in a balancing pose you have a little kickstand, and anything in between. So for all of your yoga practices to come, I would recommend some props. They are very helpful. Otherwise, May is bike month, so here at Savvy we're putting together workouts and flows for that theme. We're going to start in a seat. You can be up on blocks or a book or however you like to sit. It can be shins and knees or cross-legged. Just begin to sit up tall. Relax your shoulders down. And begin to check into your breath. Keeping this up tall posture with your shoulders relaxed away from your ears. Start to tilt your right ear toward your right shoulder. Just allow the left side of your neck to open up. Gently back through center, and left ear toward your left shoulder, the other side. Gently back through center, and take a little movement side to side, just like this. And keeping the focus to your breath. Just a couple more, side to side. When you're feeling evened out on either side of the neck, go ahead and tilt your chin all the way forward toward your chest. At the same time, reach your chest up and toward your chin to allow this opening in the back of the neck, shoulders still relaxing down. And if you'd like a little bit more, if it's okay for your neck, you can interlace your hands behind your head and just add a little bit of weight. Still sitting up tall, low belly in. And gently release, bring your head back up tall. Interlace your hands at your low back and start to roll your shoulders back. Just a little gentle opening, movement side to side. Just let it be natural and organic. And with your hands interlaced, reach both palms down toward the mat and open up your shoulders toward one another, and then down your back. Nice. And then if it feels okay in your neck, maybe point your chin all the way up to the sky. Relax your head back. Still low belly in, still breathing here. Just allow the throat to open up, front of the chest, tops of the shoulders, collarbones spreading apart. head back to center, back to neutral. And reach both hands around to the right side of your body. And maybe you can rest them right in here on your right hip, on right waist. And if your right elbow wants to jet out to the right, see if you can draw it back in line. Start to turn your right chin out over your right shoulder. Now this might be plenty. This might be totally enough for your shoulder, for your neck. If you'd like some more, you start to play around with bringing your gaze down toward your hands. Maybe tilt your chin in toward your chest, or maybe back toward your right shoulder. Everybody's going to have a little bit different setup in the body. So you find that place that's right for you. And once you do, find somewhere that opens up on the left side of the neck, top of the shoulder, outside of the shoulder. Stay there and breathe. And start to bring your head back up to center. And bring your hands back around to the left side of your body. Nestle into that left hip. Again, draw the elbow in. Start to turn your chin over your left shoulder. And start to work into that place that's right for you. Maybe gaze down toward your hands. Maybe turn your chin in. Maybe turn it back over your left shoulder. Still up tall with your spine. Breathing easy. I find that when I'm cycling for 30 minutes even or more, my neck just gets all sorts of cranked up, constantly looking forward, chin forward, watching the road. Bring your head gently back to center. Release your hands. Give your hands and arms and shoulders a shake and start to work your head into circles, really gentle circles, just exploring that new space that we've opened up. And take one side, then change it to the other direction. And then still with your breath as your focus, come to a child's pose. And come off of whatever you're sitting. If you're sitting on something, knees a little bit wider, toes toward one another, and set your hips back toward your heels. Again, reestablish your breath here. You might feel this in your shoulders, in your spine. You might definitely feel it in your hips. As each inhale, a new space for the breath. Each exhale, a little bit softer into those places where you may feel tension. And start to lift up into a tabletop position. Instead of our normal tabletop where your hands are beneath your shoulders, see about walking your hands forward, maybe a hand's distance ahead of that. Release your hips down toward your wrists. So you keep your knees down, relax your hips forward, but unshrug your shoulders and get really broad across your chest. You relax everything in the front of your body, let it relax forward, up tall at the spine. Easy breathing. And one more inhale here, expand your belly. Exhale gently back to a child's pose. Let that settle for a moment. And then again, up through a tabletop, hands slightly forward. Relax your hips down toward your wrists, knees settle down, shoulders away from your ears. It's a modified upward facing dog. And this pose, a little back bend, a little opening across the front of the body. It's a really good counteraction to typical cycling pose. Rounding forward, chin forward, chest down, shoulders rounded. So just let it be open across the front. Just a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, gently back to a child's pose. And then our last round through. You're welcome to take that modified version, knees down on the floor, relaxing shoulders back and down. If you'd like to go a little bit further, you can press into the tops of your feet, really active there. Firm up your thighs to lift your knees off the ground. You're really strong in your legs. See about releasing in your glutes though. It's not a whole lot of glute action there. Mostly legs, shoulders back and down, reaching your chest through your shoulders. And if this adds any pinching to your low back, set your knees down. It's not worth it. It's not part of the program to hurt yourself. One more in wherever you are. On the exhale, set your knees down back to a child's pose. This time tuck your toes under. So you add a little bit of stretch to the bottoms of the feet. Your hips might stay up a little bit higher. That's okay. And from here, start to lift yourself up and back. Find your downward facing dog and take all the time you like here. And keep your legs bent. Maybe pedal your way into the pose. Allowing hamstrings to open up naturally. No overexertion. Not adding too much pressure or hyperextending the knees. Keep pressing really firmly into your palms. Shoulders away from your ears. Eventually come to find some stillness in this pose. Reaching your heels down, slight bend in your knees, and use that extra space there to anteriorly tilt your pelvis. You tilt your pelvis forward, a little pop with your booty, tailbone up to the sky. Low belly in, breathe. On an inhale, take your right leg long to the sky. Really reach with the heel. On the exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Set your right foot forward between your hands and your left knee down. Nice. Bring both hands to your hips. On an inhale, find a little length in your spine. On the exhale, press forward gently into your hips. Reach into the hip flexors along the left side. On an inhale, draw back up. Exhale, press forward. Evenly, both hips forward. And take a few rounds like this. Inhale back. Slowly exhale forward. And again. And then if you've got your left toes tucked under, go ahead and untuck them. And sit your bum back toward your left heel. Allow your right leg to come straight. Flex your right toes back toward you. That's a great place for blocks if you got them, or any other sort of prop. Just to give yourself a little balance here. Keep drawing your sit bones back, especially your right sit bone reaching back, really activating into the right hamstring, right toes back toward your face. Easy breath. Maybe reaching your chest forward a little bit more with each exhale. And then rebend your right knee. Plant your right foot down. Tuck your left toes under. And then straighten out both legs. You reach your hips up high. Hop your left foot forward so you can plant the left foot down. Nice. If it's going to help your stance, you're welcome to turn your left toes out to the left slightly. This can add a little bit of balance along the midline here. Turn your chest over your right thigh. Inhale, lengthen out. Really long in your spine, like a halfway lift. On the exhale, start to fold over your right thigh. Now you can have your hands to your shins. Again, props are really helpful here. If the flexibility is there, maybe fingertips down to the ground. And what your hands are doing is drawing your chest forward, really lengthening from your tailbone through the crown of your head. At the same time, straight and strong through your legs. Press into the big toe side on the ball of your right foot. That's what we're trying to say. Really press in there. And then the pinky toe side of your back foot. And one more inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog, just like you were before. Take a moment to settle into the pose. Back to the breath. Just a moment to draw your awareness inward and see what it feels like to have done one side. Your next inhale, reach your left leg long, really long through your heel. Keep that reach. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Step your left foot between your hands. Set your right knee down. Both hands to your hips, torso up tall. Inhale to gather yourself up. Exhale, press your hips forward and down toward your left heel. Again, inhale out. Exhale in. A few rounds like this. Moving with ease. Not with force. Not by moving past where your body is able to go. And then when you're ready, draw your hips up and out. Untuck your right toes if they're tucked and find that half split. You lengthen out your left leg, flex your toes back toward you. Again, great place for blocks. Maybe you could bring fingertips down to the floor as long as you're really active in the back of the left leg, drawing the sit bone back, flex your toes back toward your face. Each inhale, a little more length in the spine. Each exhale, soften a little bit more into the fold. And start to rebend your left leg, plant your foot down, tuck your right toes under. Straighten out both legs. Your hips come up and back, and then hop your right foot forward to where you can plant the right foot down. And if you like, you can turn your right toes out to the right, add a little stability to the pose. Inhale to lengthen out, really long in your spine. Exhale, start to fold over your left thigh. Again, great place for props. Whatever allows you the greatest lengthening in your spine and ease in your breath. A little bit more pressure into the ball of your left foot and the pinky toe side of your right foot. And your next inhale, lengthen out, halfway lift. Bend your knees, and the exhale, plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog, just like you were before. And start to walk your hands back toward your feet. Take a forward fold at the back of the mat. Just allow everything to relax forward from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Maybe even add a little bit more bend to your knees if they're straight. And if they are bent a lot, see about reaching from your heels to your sit bones, really active, opening the hamstring. Allow your head and neck to be heavy, shoulders relax away from your ears. Plant your hands down. Maybe bend your knees a lot. Lift up onto the balls of your feet. Sit your bum down low. Nice. A bit of a toe squat here. This is plenty for your toes and your feet. You can stay right here if you want to relax into it a little bit more. Your heels down. And if further is where you'd like to go, you can start to set your knees down with your toes tucked under. You set your knees down. Maybe work to get all of your toes tucked under. You can assist with your hands. Now, first variation of this, you add a prop between your heel, or between your calves and your bum. Just a little bit of height here. And start to relax your weight back into your toes. And if that's okay, you can go a little bit further. You can sit your bum all the way back down onto your heels. Up tall and breathe. Now, if you're not feeling anything yet, you will soon. Nice. Just allow it to be open. Bottoms of the feet. Everything gentle. This is called broken toes pose. And I like to get people into the pose before I tell them what it's called. You may understand why. Just a couple more breaths here. Great for plantar fasciitis. Great for those with really flat feet or with really high arch. Can be good to even out, opening up the base of the feet. And when you're done, you're done. Bring your weight forward, plant your hands, untuck your toes, and give just a really gentle paddling out the tops of your feet. A little bit of a counter stretch here. You can sit your weight back onto your heels like you would in child's pose. And maybe sit up tall, maybe even plant your hands behind you and lift your knees up to open the front of the ankle, top of the ankle. And then gently make your way back to a seat. Now, on the Savvy Yoga webpage, we've got a lot of options for yoga flows and different variations of things and modifications and all that. This one has been in the theme of Bike Month. So if you are a cyclist, those particular moves can be really helpful before and after, or both, your ride. Otherwise, thank you for sharing your practice. Please take rest after any yoga practice, shavasana, seated meditation, whatever's going to work for you in the time that you have. Otherwise, thank you. Again, my name is Benett. Namaste.